Hi everyone, thanks for tuning in. Now that we know how to apply some basic tools and indicators to your charts, I thought I'd spend the next few minutes going over some of the more advanced settings and show you some tips and tricks that we can do to speed up your analysis. So I'm going to jump in and open up a new chart. So new, single code, I'm going to do a bar chart, and let's just type a ticker symbol for Amazon and open up that bar chart. I'm going to apply a Trendline tool. So using the right click menu, I'm going to click on the wrench or the spanner and then type in the search box, trend. And you'll notice that there's also a little code or 2 or 3 digits or letters after the tool. So Trendline is TL. So as you learn more about the tools, you can just type that code into the search box rather than type trend. So next time I'll type TL and Trendline will come straight up. So I just applied that Trendline there. Now you'll notice that this is what we call a drawing tool or a static tool that we manually position on the chart. When the tool is activated, you will see there's 2 little circles at the end. So all of these types of tools will have these handles, or what we call control points. And that's how you can tell that the tool is the active element on the screen. You'll notice on the left-hand side, the actions and properties relate to the Trendline tool because that is the last element that we clicked on. But if I change that and click on the actual one of the bars of the charts, you can see the actions and properties have changed and the control points have disappeared from the Trendline. So to get them back, we just click on the line and the properties change again. Now the other thing to know about these control points is that's how you can manipulate the tool. So I'm just going to click and drag that bottom trend line there and move it over there, and that top one stays where it is until I move it. It's not a great trend line, but let's just move it down there, for example. Now what we can also do is manually set the levels for these tools. So if we right click anywhere on that line and then to get up the right click menu, you'll notice there's a different one when we do it on a tool. There's a little mouse icon, and these give the price values and the dates of these control points. So let's say, for example, I want to manually put in the levels for this trend line. So instead of starting at 682, I want to start at 675, and you'll see that line on the far left hand side has just dropped down to that price level. Similarly, I can change the date either by typing the date or selecting from the calendar icon. Some other things that we can do with this tool. So remember, we can roll away that actions and properties panel on the left hand side with that icon at the top left of the actions bar, because everything we can do with the right click menu. So I'm going to right click again on that trend line and go to that running man, which is the actions, and this gives us some other options that we can do, such as copy tool. So if I select that and then click anywhere on the chart, that's going to, depending on where I click, that's going to put an exact copy of that line on the chart. Now if I change any of those properties, so again I'm going to right click on the line, go to the pencil. Let's say I want to change it from green to red, and instead of solid I want to make it a dashed line, and I also want to change the original trend line as well. I don't want to use green, so what I can do is go to the actions and then I can apply settings to all, and then all the trend lines in this current chart, if I had tiled pages, I could change all the trend lines on the current page, or I can replace everything in this workbook. All trend lines I can change to red dashed in one fell swoop without having to go through each one individually. So I'm just going to do current chart, and when I select that, you'll see that original trend line has changed to those settings. Okay, I'm now going to delete these tools, so I can click on and hit the delete key on my keyboard, or I can right click and use that icon there. Another example, I'm going to right click, go to the wrench. Now you'll notice this list is the last 10 tools that I've used. It remembers those ones, but these little arrows here, we can click those, and these will display the folders as they appear in the Tools menu at the top of the screen. And likewise on the other side of the list, that'll give us the thumbnails and the description. So let's say I'm going to go down to drawing and I want to select a symbol. And when I click on the chart, I'm going to get this little palette of available symbols. So I want to use, say, a red arrow. And then I'm going to just click and drag that control point, and I'm going to put it at that low there. And again, I'm going to right click on that, go to the properties. I want to make that bigger, so I'm going to make the image size bigger. And then what I want to do is copy that tool. So again, moving over to the Running Man or the Actions panel, copy tool, and when I click, that'll be applied to wherever I click. Now, instead of copying and clicking individually, what I can do is go to the Actions, hold the Control key down on my keyboard, copy tool, and then I can keep clicking without having a copy. And then before the last one, I let go of the Control button and left click, and then my cursor returns to normal. One final thing I'll show you in this video is putting on an indicator of an indicator. So I'm going to right click, type in RSI, and that's going to put the default RSI on the bottom of the chart there. But now what I want to do is put on a stochastic indicator of that RSI. So to do that, I'm going to right click on the RSI line, go to the wrench just as we normally would, and then start typing stochastic, and I'm going to choose the slow stochastic from that list, and that's now been applied to the bottom of the chart. Now you'll notice that the caption on the left side of that window there now says the 1033 slow stochastic of the 10 period RSI. So that's how you can tell what the tool is being calculated on, because if I put the stochastic on again by right clicking up in the price chart, I'll apply that, and you'll see that obviously it'll be a different shape on the indicator because it's now being calculated off of the price. And again, we can tell that because it just says slow stochastic. It doesn't tell us that it's the stochastic of the 10 period RSI. And one other thing that you should be aware of, that we can now resize those panels at the bottom of the chart. So that there's a grey line separating all three. So what we can do is just click and drag. So when our cursor turns into a little double-headed arrow, we can just drag that down. And as we zoom in and out and change the history, obviously everything moves in unison. Hope that's been useful. As always, any questions, please let us know. Thanks very much.